This exercise is really important and useful as a way of releasing stress and a lot of tension in the body. It's basically what we're doing is encouraging the legs to come to a spontaneous shake. This is something that happens quite naturally and organically in our bodies all the time. You might have found that during your yoga practice that sometimes you get quite shaky. And you sort of stop it or try and hold that back because it can feel like the body is weak or doing something wrong. But actually, when your body starts to shake and goes into a shaking experience, it's actually a really good sign. It's a way that your body is trying to release energy. So any mammal, as we're mammals, every mammal has part of our stress response, part of releasing stress and tension in the body is, and after traumas, is to shake out the stress, shake out the tension. So shaking is the same as, say, yawning, sighing, crying, laughing. It's just one response that is from the nervous system, from our unconscious, as a way of releasing tension. So what this exercise does is it encourages a shake in the body. And there's lots of forms of different people do this in different ways. Some forms of shaking practices, you start by actually shaking your legs, or you do it yourself, you shake and then the legs start to do it, or the body starts to shake by itself. But what this does is it actually encourages the legs just to go into a spontaneous shake, so you're not controlling it. So it's simple, it's just 3 yoga positions based around Baddha Konasana, which is this position. So I put a blanket down, so you can lie on a blanket, make it more comfortable. Bring your feet together, bring your knees apart, and just lie on, maybe a cushion for the head is nice. You don't need one, but it can be more comfortable. So you're lying in this position. You're going to stay here for about a minute and a half. And you want to feel a stretch, but it doesn't want to be maybe the most stretch you can feel. Just relax, just normal. You can bring your hands to your belly. Now, when you first begin this, you might not notice anything. Nothing might happen. And that's because we have quite a strong inbuilt control system that controls us letting go. This is a letting go process. It encourages and helps our body to learn to let go of tension. But letting go is something that to our nervous system, to our psyche, can feel quite out of control and abnormal. So it takes a little while to get used to. So just see what happens and just be curious. The best way to approach this is just with curiosity. So take another few breaths here. What you might find is you've already started feeling a tremor. So when you get used to tremoring and shaking, you'll actually notice this happening quite a lot in other parts of your practice, and it starts to become quite visible that your body is an organic shaking organism, and it's really normal. It's really good to get used to that. Okay, so from here, keep the body in the same position, but just lift your hips up. And just wait here for about a minute. So as long as there's no pain, there's no cramping or anything, you don't have to lift up very high. You can just literally lift just off the ground, but lift to the point where you feel like your bum is doing a little bit of work and you're having to hold the legs there. And again, observe what's happening, be curious, and any sort of like wobble in the body that you're not controlling is all good. This is what we're looking for, so just go with that. Breathing, notice any kind of little tremor beginning at all here. A few more breaths. You need to keep a nice steady, slow rhythm of breath for this practice. And then lower the hips down. Once the hips come down, leave the legs where they are. Try not to collapse them completely, but just leave them there. And then bring the knees in very slightly, and I'm talking maybe an inch. So just slightly bring the knees in and see what happens there. And then bring your knees in a little bit more and see what happens there. So somewhere between the knees being out and the knees being hip distance apart in what's called constructive rest is a place where you'll start to feel a tremor, a shake. So bring them in a little bit more and just notice. So I've done this practice quite a lot, so I know what I'm looking for here, and I can feel a shake beginning. And just notice what you're feeling. Everyone's shake is different. So some people, when I'm doing this in classes, their legs will just start going immediately and literally flapping. It's brilliant. And then other people have said, to me it looks like nothing's happening, and I'll speak to them afterwards and they'll say, no, there was like this vibration inside me. So it doesn't look like anything's happening, but you can feel inside that there's a sort of a tremor and a shake going inside the body. So bring the knees in a bit more. So if you're just watching this video, sometimes it's just good to watch the videos at first before you do them. You can see that my legs have started to shake a bit, to wobble. So I can feel this around my bum, I can feel this in my legs, my thighs. And what will happen for me, and I'll demonstrate what happens to me, is because I've done this lots, the shake will actually usually go into the rest of my body if you allow this. At first that won't happen, it'll just be confined to the legs, but then as you get more used to it, if you do more sessions, so bring the knees in a little bit more, you'll start to notice that the shake, if you let it, can continue all the way through the body, and it can feel like a real shake. So now, for me, my shake has started to move up into my body. So I'm going to stand my feet on the ground. You might just still be moving your knees in. So I'm going to stand my feet on the ground, so constructive rest there. So my shake has this pattern, a kind of like a snake pattern. I can feel it. It'll sort of start in my legs and then ripple up through my back, through my body. If I just let my arms go, my shoulder will probably start, and it can change. Sometimes it's my left shoulder that goes, other times it's my right shoulder that goes. So it's like this kind of ripple. Don't expect this to happen day one, because this is, I've been practicing this lots and just letting the shake come in. I'm not controlling this. It's like a shake. It's like that. Imagine like you've seen a sort of an animal shaking, and it's like that kind of release. And you can just, wherever you are now, feeling your shake. So you might be just a little tiny tremor in the legs, or the legs might be moving a bit. And then I'll show you, when you feel like you're ready to stop, you just straighten the legs. So if I straighten my legs now, my shaking will stop. And I can still feel a ripple in the body, just kind of releasing, but it's a way of ending the session. So maybe for you, you're still here, and your legs might just be kind of twitching a bit and wobbling a bit, and just watch that, just notice that. You want to be able to do maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes. Your legs will get tired if you do too much longer than that, but you want to do most of it with the feet on the ground and the knees about hip distance, so you're actually in this position. If you come here too quickly, so if you go up too quickly, you'll miss the shake. You might need to start the process again and go slower to collect your shake in your legs and let it move through your body. Sometimes some people's shake is like this. So I've seen kind of more the shake going into an arching in the back. And then other times, sometimes it's more like a flop to the side. So your body just kind of flops. And again, you're not controlling it. So just let whatever happens, happens. When you've done a few minutes and you feel like you're getting tired, you kind of know when you're done, then just straighten out the legs and just flop. And you should feel a lovely kind of quietness in the body, a real sense of settling, releasing tension. And it's a great way to end a practice. So if you've done a strongish practice and you just want to end on a really nice relaxing note, or it's just good, say at the end of a day, just to do a little shake in the legs, release the tension of the day. I've done it, I wrote off my car about a year or two ago, I can't remember, and it was obviously stressful. So when I came home, I went to my bedroom and did some leg shaking, and it was I could literally feel the stress and the tension leaving my body through the shaking, and I didn't get any whiplash or any pain in the shoulders at all. So, and I do put it down to just literally getting rid of that tension as soon as it occurred. So it's a really good tool. Take a few more breaths. And if you want to do that again, go into another session straight away and practice that. Go for it. And if you have questions around it, you're not sure, then just get in touch with me. I'd be really happy to answer questions on this. So enjoy. Take care. Namaste.